What's up? My name is Sian. If you're new here, I am a graphic designer and I run a design studio called CURATE Gold where we do one-on-one stuff, like custom branding, website design and everything. We also have a shop where I sell Squarespace Design Kits and Canva bundles and design resources and courses and stuff. So today I thought I would make a video sharing the process for curating some stock photography and maybe also a little bit of design inspo for a new Squarespace design kit that I need to create for the shop. So yeah, I use a lot of photography in all of my work. You can totally create templates and things without any photography, but most people need it and I love using it in my work. So I thought I would make a video kind of showing the process for finding the photography and kind of curating some textures and the vibe and everything. And I'll quickly show this. So these are the two templates I have in the shop at the moment. So I just want them to be a bit different from these two, really. These two were kind of created with similar people in mind. So this one is a one-page website kind of designed for service-based entrepreneurs. And then this one is created with graphic designers and or business coaches in mind. So I kind of usually start creating a template with some kind of person in mind just because it makes it a lot easier to design, really. So this new design kit, and anyone can use it, it's just easier to design it with someone in mind so you can curate the photos to a certain way and all that shit. So this new one, I was thinking of creating it for interior designers or something kind of along those lines because I haven't really done that before and I think it's I could maybe create something really cool. I did have a client, Kelly Howard. I did her website a while ago and her work is just freaking awesome and I love doing that, so I feel maybe I just got inspired doing her stuff or just looking at that again. So yeah, I'll see what I can find for stock photography. So I'm going to start on Unsplash, which is a website where you can find free stock photos and you can use them for whatever you want. I also have Pexels, which is basically the same thing. Pexels also has videos, which comes in pretty handy. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to find what you're looking for though, so I'll probably come back to the videos last. And I also have Pinterest open for some design inspo as I go, so I might do a bit of that as well to kind of start to pull together the whole direction. I don't really have any of this done yet, so I thought it might be kind of cool to pretty much start from scratch. The only thing I have is the idea that it could be cool to create this for some kind of interior designer / home stylist kind of vibe person. So that's pretty much all I've got. So we're going to start to see if I can find some photography. So I might start, it kind of depends. Sometimes I'll start with Pinterest, sometimes I'll start with photos. I think I'm going to start with the photos this time. I do have quite a few collections of photos already kind of lined up. And these are I've been adding to these. I add to these all the time. I'm always on the Unsplash. It's probably my main place I get my photos from for projects. Unless, of course, my clients have their own photo shoots and stuff, which a lot of them do. But when I'm sourcing photography, this is kind of my main go-to spot. So these are all collections that I've been had going for years. So I don't actually have any collections that are specific to home / interior stuff, which might be kind of interesting because I really have to go looking for that kind of stuff. I do have a lot Like there might be some that could work as like secondary kind of shots, because like it doesn't all need to be like interiors. And obviously if I'm curating something, it might be harder to find like a set of photos that works together. So yeah, I also have this textures and backgrounds photos, which I'll definitely use that. Maybe green. Green is literally all just like greenery. So let's start with, I'll open some of these, but first obviously I need to look up. So I'm going to start looking up interior. We'll just see how this goes. I've never even like tried looking this category up, so we'll see. So I kind of just start looking, and like if there's a certain photo or two that feels like a good vibe, then I'll start there. So I mean, this one's kind of okay. It's a bit boring though. Kind of like that one. So I'm gonna create a new collection. I'll just make it private for now because it's gonna be all over the show with different kinds of stuff probably. So, oh, I like this one. I feel like and it's kind of interesting too, like this is my more like business side of how I think about stuff, but creating a template for someone who's an interior kind of designer, obviously, like I kind of need to pick the vibe that I want to go for, which is what I'm trying to figure out right now. So I feel like the like trendy sort of vibe I could go for would be like very clean, minimal, kind of like this, or I could make the whole template like based around something like this, where it's like a lot more dark and moody, assuming I can find other photos that are gonna relate to this and like support the same theme. So that's also something I kind of got to think about. Like I don't want it to be too, I don't want the vibe of this whole template to be like too kind of, what's the word, like minimal and only focus on like a really small amount of people. Like, are more people going to be interested in this like very like white, clean, fresh vibe as much as I love this, you know? I'm going to save this one anyway. So yeah, even this one, like this kind of shit where it's not really like a zoomed out perspective, like this kind of stuff is amazing for like putting text over the top. So that's kind of one thing to look for, is like choosing a wide range of photography. So I'll come back to that, but at the moment I'll just kind of save like a very random selection of like all kinds of shit. Definitely love this one. So I think that's one thing, like in the beginning when you're looking for like a set of photos or for something, just like don't worry about being too like picky about all of it. Like just save anything that's like remotely something you're into that might fit the vibe, and then you can just come back and like keep cutting shit out as you go. So yeah, there's like a pretty solid amount. So one other thing I really love doing, like if you find one photo that you really love, definitely go to the photographer's profile and see if they have other shit from the same shoot, or they might have something from a totally different shoot that also has the same vibe. This one's kind of all over the place, to be honest. It's not as what I was expecting. And like some of them have a bajillion photos, and unfortunately maybe you can. Yeah, Unsplash is kind of hard. Like on Stocksy, which is another one I can look at. On Stocksy, it's really good because they organize it a lot better and they have like shoots. So if you do find one shot that you really like, it will come up and show you everything else from that exact same shoot, which Unsplash doesn't do. Like you literally kind of have to scroll through everything. Where was I? This one. Sometimes if you click on it and scroll down, it'll show you related photos. Sometimes yeah, that's not too bad. Sometimes it's like close and sometimes it's like completely not what you're looking for. But it's worth checking out. Yeah, so we'll come back to wherever I was before this one. This is still just on my searched interior. So I definitely like keeping in mind, I know all the stuff I've chosen so far has been like pretty neutral. So yeah, we can come back to that. I feel like the green's kind of weird in this one, but I'm going to save it anyway. I think I just saved that one, yeah. I love this, by the way. Looks like, I don't know if that's a bathroom or what that is, but it just looks rad. So, I mean, I'll see what we've got so far. If I go to my collections. So yeah, we've definitely got a lot of neutrals. I mean, you can tell this one is now the odd one out, based on everything else. Also, this one is too dark as well. I mean, I could edit that photo in Photoshop and fuck around with it. But yeah. So the rest of these, I think, are looking good. So yeah, we can tell that everything is pretty neutral. So like, I would probably want to spend time curating a bit more. So I'll just quickly scroll a bit more and see if there's anything else that like kind of fits the vibe. Let me have a look on Pixels. I'll start with photos because I feel like videos is not gonna. Yeah, you can tell. I mean, the style of these, most of these photos is quite different. I don't love most of these, to be honest. I don't know what interior design, if that's any different or not. Yeah, I feel like most of these are like less clean, less creative. I don't know. Sometimes these, like, it totally depends what you're looking for. It can kind of be like hit or miss. And I'll have a look on Stocksy just for example's sake. Stocksy is a paid site. Sometimes they can have good stuff though, and their search is really good. Like, you can get insanely specific with all of this shit, which you can't really do on the other sites. yeah, so there's a lot going on. I don't mind it, but I don't love this one. So, I mean, this is kind of cool though, that you can go into the shoot and like, if it's like something you kind of like, but you're like, not sure, you can come in here and there's usually like a shit ton of other similar stuff. So yeah, we'll see. We'll start here, but then I'm also going to go to the textures and backgrounds collection. So I've got a few in here that look fine. And then I'm going to come over here and see if there's any like textures or other stuff that I could bring into it. I really like this one. I feel like that would look sick. I'm also going to make this is Adobe XD. It's just a design program. You could do this in anything. Like you could do this in Canva or literally Photoshop, anything that works. But I'm just gonna I just basically want a place where I can download all of these photos and put them in one place and start seeing them all together. Because it's a lot easier to do it in like a program versus like just collecting them in a collection online. So I'm going to download all these. I'll come back to that in a second. So yeah, I really like this one. I don't even know what that is. I think it's like water. Looks freaking sweet though. Yeah, that one's cool. This one is also very weird, but I kind of dig it and I have no idea what it is. So yeah, we'll start there. I'm quickly going to put everything in here and then I'll be back in 1 second once I've done it, so you don't have to watch me do it. Okay, so I've downloaded those photos and I've put them literally just into squares. So you can do this in any app. Like I said, like you can totally do this in Canva. I use XD because it's pretty easy. So this is just a way easier. Like it just gives you way more of a bird's eye view and you can throw in photos from all different places and everything. So we can start to see, like, I kind of dig where this is going so far. It's obviously very neutral, which I think is good and will probably, hopefully appeal to a few more people. I feel like this is also kind of a vibe a lot of people are going for right now. So yeah, we're going to keep looking for a couple more. I'm also going to come back to this textures folder just to see if there's anything else that kind of might fit the vibe I'm going for. And I mean, we can see that, like, they're all very basic too. Like, obviously there's really not much happening and there's not, like, that's kind of the thing about, I think, specifically this, like, curating photos, imagining this template being for an interior designer. Like, it's not, like, all of these are, like, taken by completely different people. And they're of, like, completely different spaces, I'm assuming. So, like, it's kind of my job to, like, pull together a series that, like, feels like it's actually made by one person. Because, like, this, like, fake person that I'm going to make the template for, like, it needs to be, like, somewhat realistic. So that's kind of the hard thing, is that it's probably not entirely possible to have, like, this amazing series of all these photos that looks like perfect, because it's not possible. So we can see that, like, in this photo there's a plant on the side, and then obviously there's a little bit of green here. So I'm thinking that it could be cool to, like, bring in some green as, like, another texture. So we can go to my green folder. The only thing I'm kind of wary of is like I don't want to overdo it, because I think the green, like using leafy textures, can very easily be like overdone and like feel very old school very quickly. So yeah, I really like this one because it's kind of, the colors are kind of muted and it doesn't feel like a tacky like leafy green image. So I'm going to download this one and throw it in and see what it looks like. And also, like, sometimes I kind of like to play with like rearranging things to feel a bit more balanced, just to like see how it looks. So I mean, it looks kind of random right now because it's the only one, but I'm gonna see if there's anything else in here that is like similar. Like this, more darker. I think definitely staying away from any green stuff that's like insanely saturated. Like I don't really like this one. This one's kind of dark. We'll see what it looks like. This one definitely is the vibe too. Oops. Yeah, so I kind of dig how that's looking. Like the tones are like very like calming and neutral. There's no like insane saturation anywhere. So like that's kind of one thing you want to look for when you're curating a selection, is like how do the tones feel across the images, keeping in mind you can edit them. Like in Photoshop, like this one has like a bit of wood in there, which you don't, like other than here, you kind of don't really see it. So like you can edit them. So if I was like, this one needs like a little bit of color editing, you can do that. Or like, for example, if this one, let me show you. Like if there's one that was kind of close, but not exactly what I wanted. For an example. Like even that one, like if I really like the textures and the like composition of that one, but the colors don't really work, you can like easily take that into Photoshop and just like desaturate it and like play around with the colors a little bit so it matches the palette. So definitely keep that in mind. And that's if you have access to like Photoshop and stuff. If you don't, then obviously you need to keep looking a little bit more till you find something that's like exactly what you need. I mean, you can also like use your phone if you really need to. You could use like Visco or something. Obviously, like anytime you're importing and resaving a photo, it's gonna like start messing with the messing with the quality. So the quality is gonna start going down. The more you edit a photo and like save it again and again, and like obviously putting on your phone and those kinds of apps might mess with the quality a lot more than Photoshop would, but that's just an option anyway. So yeah, I'm kind of digging how this is looking so far. It's like very neutral. I think these are all totally something I could work with. I would probably just want to keep looking for some more specific interior ones. Even just a few, and I might not even use all of these on the template. It's kind of just like getting a really solid like bigger base collection to start with. It's just a lot easier to have like a bigger collection, and then you can narrow it down. So yeah, that's kind of the basics of like how I start to curate photos. So yeah, that's like the very basics of it. I could talk about this stuff for hours. I don't want this video to be like incredibly long. If you have more specific questions about this kind of stuff, leave them in the comments, because I could definitely make more videos like this and kind of explain like even more stuff when it comes to choosing photography and like editing it and like really bringing together a solid selection of photography or design inspo or anything really. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful and gave you like a few ideas of how to look for things, and things to like keep an eye out for. So yeah, this little kind of, I guess you'd call this like a little how-to video, is pretty similar to some stuff I'll be doing in my summer series of mini masterclasses on graphic design. I have one called Photography and Design that we're going to do. It's kind of like this, but like just way more in depth about like curation, and I'll go into like specifically and like show you how to edit them and like some really cool features and ways that you can mess around with like editing photography and like just doing cool effects that like make shit different. So you would take like a boring like flat stock photo and like do some cool stuff in Photoshop. So it just goes way more into depth of all of this stuff. So yeah, if you want to join that, it starts on July 27. The link will be down below if you want to check it out. But yeah, hopefully this was kind of interesting, helpful, gave you some ideas and inspo. But yeah, happy curating and have a good one.